Tri-State Audi. Visit your Tri-State area Audi dealer today. A Game 6 masterpiece for the New York Knicks. They led by 27 at the half. Josh Hart had 10, every Knicks starter in double figures. Karl-Anthony Towns had a great game and a great start. And the Knicks eliminate the Celtics 119-81. Knicks into the conference finals for the first time since 2000. Great to have you with us here from our Delta MSG studios. Bill Pito along with Alan Hahn and Wally Zerbiak. No one on the planet had the Knicks winning this series. No one, I don't think, thought the Knicks would win this game by 38 points. The biggest game they've had in 25 years, they could not have played any better. They wiped the Celtics off the court, Wally, from start to finish.
That's why we love sports. It's the ultimate reality TV. You never know the outcome. What a performance. Adjustments right and left by Tom Thibodeau and the New York Knicks. And that building, it was electric. Just awesome.
Mikal Bridges, a big game tonight, 22 points, now joins us from across the street. Mikal, congrats on your play. Congrats on your team's phenomenal play. How did you guys make it look so easy?
Just playing hard, man. You know, shout out to them, though. They compete. I know they have their man down, and they fighting for him. Utmost respect for them, you know, how much they grind, how hard they play. But we just came out there with intensity and from the jump, you know, and I'm just proud of everybody and really happy about the third quarter. You know, you could be up a lot in that half, come out third, give them some energy, and I think we started off that third really well. So, you know,
congrats to you and your teammates, and best of luck in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers. Game 1 is Wednesday night.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate y'all.
All right. Talk about the start, Wally. I mean, the Knicks, they were stifling on defense early in the game, and Bridges had 10 points in that first quarter. Really helped key the Knicks' great start.
It all started with the adjustments that the coaching staff made. There were no open looks for that Boston Celtics team. Derek White had to shoot 30-footers if he wanted to get three-point attempts up. And their sense of urgency, you could see a level that this team can get to. That was championship basketball, the way they played in that whole entire game, and especially in the first quarter, the way they set the tone. I saw Derek White shaking his head on a few plays. When Deuce McBride hit that three in his face in the second quarter, he was like, we got no shot tonight. You could see it in your opponent's face. When you have taken their heart and ripped it out of their chest, they had no chance to win this game because of the way the Knicks came out at the beginning.
38-point win is the largest margin of victory the Knicks have ever had in a playoff game. The previous high, 36 against the Bucks all the way back in 1970. Talked about the Knicks start. How about the assertiveness early, Alan, for Karl-Anthony Towns? 10 of his 23. I should say 11 of his 23 came in the first quarter.
Yeah, he was in attack mode. He was embarrassed about what Game 5 looked like for him and the way they were able to defend him and bring over the spy and Luke Cornett. And he decided, get me out on the perimeter and let me work. And he went one-on-one against bigs. You see, there comes Cornett, but it was too late. He had his shooting touch on, and then he had smaller players on him. He went beast mode. That's right, flex on him, Cat. Let him know. And how about the board work, too? Boxing out, finishing strong around the basket. This was the Karl-Anthony Towns that everybody was looking for. He gave you a double-double, 21 and 12. But it was just special the way he started the game. He's the one that really got it going in the building because you could tell the fans wanted to see this kind of performance. This was not only for him, but it felt like, as well, you talked about being in the building, this was like a catharsis in that building. I mean, this was so many fans have been waiting a long time for a game like this and a feeling like this, and it was special. And to have Karl-Anthony Towns, the new player, but a guy who knows the Knicks well because he's a guy from New Jersey, to have him started off the way he did, boy, did that set a tone.
I think the performance that this team put together in this game, it is the final piece to all their confidence coming together. Because you got to remember, Cat's a new guy. He just came this year. It takes a little bit of time to go through ups and downs like this team has gone through, losing a game 5 in Boston the way they did, and then bouncing back the way they did, the way they responded, the way that locker room responded, the way OG Anunoby bounced back after 1 for 12, Mikal Bridges, the way he played in this whole entire playoff so far. This team is growing right before our eyes. And I don't think they know how good they are. They showed how good they can be. And this team is a legitimate title contender to win it all already this year.
You guys have been talking about Anunoby. Well, you just referenced him. 23 points, only 6 in the last game, and 2 others in the series in single digits. Not only did he score, but his blocks early in the game really helped set the tone.
Yeah, and Jalen Brown, like, he was good in the first quarter. had 13 in the first quarter. He's trying to keep the Boston Celtics in the game. But it was just an avalanche of defenders all over Jalen Brown, just locked in to
without it getting set. And this was the game where you started to feel like the Tatum loss because
Totally.
Brown was struggling.
Totally.
The Knicks were bottling him up. You mentioned Derek White. They gave him no airspace whatsoever, so he couldn't get off to that fast start he likes to get off to. He wasn't getting off threes, and they shot under 30% from three. Now, keep in mind, in their wins in this series, they shot 47% from three. In their losses, they shot 27%.
Right.
So that just showed you right there. You've got to take that away from them, and they have no other answer because they don't have a one-on-one player anymore in the lineup.
Yep. White only scored 8 points, 3 of 11 from downtown.
Yeah, he
Actually,
was on
2 of 8 from
lockdown.
downtown.
They treated him like a star. They
did.
treated him like a star. It's okay. You're scoring. He was 10 of 15 on open threes in the past 2 games. They said, we're taking that away. They treated him like a star. You saw Bridges following him around everywhere.
The communication and transition.
Very much
You talked
better.
about their transition defense being a key to the game.
Yeah.
I mean, they were picking up guys right when they set foot over half court.
Yes.
It wasn't like run back to the paint and build out. It was right when they crossed half court, the Knicks had a guy on White, Pritchard, Jalen Brown. I mean, it was aggressive defense, full court almost, to make sure those guys don't get any quality looks. And the Celtics still tried to shoot threes. I mean, still got 49 up, but the quality of their threes, you knew those weren't going in, a lot of them.
You remember my stat to watch, the minus 35 of the starting 5? I mean, this game, everybody
Knicks starters coming into this game minus 35
in the
terms of
series.
point difference.
And
right.
Jalen Brunson said that's a problem. We got to fix that. Well, you had 4 starters in 20, and Josh Hart gave you a triple-double. Like, that's what your starters did in this game in winning time, and that says a lot about that group and how aware they were, where they are, of what they did in Game 5 and how much they were able to make up for it in one game.
I also want to point out 27-point halftime lead, tied for their largest halftime lead in a playoff game
crazy.
since May 8th, 1970. Wow. That's when Willis Reed came down the tunnel and the Knicks won Game 7 against the Lakers. May 8th, 1970, they led the Lakers by 27 at the half. Tonight, they led the Celtics by 27 at the half. And again, the 38-point playoff win, their largest playoff win ever. And we have a lot more to get to. It's an hour-long post-game show, maybe even longer. We were with the crowd at halftime, a wild scene, the coach, and much more post-game reaction coming up.
Knicks fans, let me say it loud and clear. We're going to the Eastern Conference Finals. Say that again and let it sink in. The New York Knicks are heading to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 24 years. And it didn't just happen. It wasn't luck. It wasn't a bounce or a whistle or a last-second miracle. It was a beatdown, a statement. A 119-81 demolition of the Boston Celtics in front of a sold-out Madison Square Garden. And on the biggest stage, with all the pressure in the world, the Knicks didn't just survive, they made history. Josh Hart made history. Jalen Brunson led like a star. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Karl-Anthony Towns all stepped up in the most dominant Knicks playoff performance of this century. This is the New York Knicks Report. And tonight, we're celebrating a win that's not just about Game 6. It's about everything we've been building toward. Let's talk about it. Coming into Game 6, all the pressure was on the Knicks. You had your shot to close it out in Game 5, and Boston blew us off the court. They came out swinging, knocked us down, and suddenly, the narrative started shifting. Can the Knicks really hang with the Celtics? Did New York blow their best shot? Is the pressure too much for this team? Well, guess what? The Knicks answered every single one of those questions in 48 minutes of absolute dominance. Jalen Brunson, the heart and soul of this team, set the tone with 23 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. He controlled the tempo. He made big shots. He kept everyone calm, even as the Garden was shaking. OG Anunoby, welcome back. This man was everywhere. He dropped 23 points, grabbed 9 boards, and made life miserable for Boston's wings. That's the OG we've been waiting for. Mikal Bridges, who had been relatively quiet early in the series, picked the perfect time to go off. 22 points and a defensive masterclass. Karl-Anthony Towns showed exactly why the Knicks traded for him. 21 points and 12 rebounds, battling in the paint and stretching the floor. And then, of course, we get to Josh Hart, 10 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, a playoff triple-double, but not just any triple-double. This was the first playoff triple-double by a Knicks player since Walt Frazier in 1972. Let me say that again, so it hits you in the chest. It's been 52 years since a Knicks player dropped a triple-double in the postseason, and who breaks that drought? Josh Hart, the man who dives for loose balls, crashes the glass like a power forward, and runs the offense when the pressure's at its peak. 9 triple-doubles in the regular season, more than any Knick ever. And now, one more, in the playoffs. This man is not just the glue of this team. He's one of the most impactful postseason players the Knicks have had in decades. And the league took notice. The NBA didn't wait to celebrate him. They made the announcement during the game. Josh Hart has made Knicks history. And he did it in a game that will go down as one of the most important playoff wins in modern franchise history. Let's talk big picture. This win doesn't just send the Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals. It buries the ghosts. This franchise hasn't seen this level of success since the 1999 to 2000 season. That's right. Back when Allen Houston, Larry Johnson, and Marcus Camby were battling it out in the East. It's been 24 years since we've stood this close to an NBA Finals berth. And now, we're one series away. But what makes this moment even sweeter is who we beat to get here. The Boston Celtics, the top seed, the deepest roster in the league, the so-called title favorites. And not only did we beat them, we embarrassed them. Let's not sugarcoat it. This wasn't a fluke. This was a 38-point blowout that sent the Garden into orbit and sent the Celtics into vacation. Now the job isn't finished. The Knicks are headed to battle the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals, a classic 90s rivalry reignited in 2024. And you better believe the Garden is going to be electric. Game 1 is this Wednesday, right back at Madison Square Garden, 8:00 p.m. Eastern on TNT. We've got the momentum. We've got the city. We've got the toughness, but we're going to need more. This Pacers team is no joke. They're young, fast, and fearless. But if the Knicks play with the same hunger, the same intensity, and the same belief that we saw in Game 6, we're going to the finals. Now, Knicks fans, I want to hear from you. What was your favorite moment from Game 6? How big is this moment for Josh Hart and his legacy in New York? Do you think the Knicks are playing like a team that can win it all? And what are your predictions for this Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers? Drop your comments below and let's turn this channel into a celebration. If you're riding with the Knicks, if you've waited years for this kind of energy, if you believe we're not done yet, hit that like button, subscribe, and smash that notification bell because we are just getting started. The NBA is officially on notice. Josh Hart is making history. Jalen Brunson is leading like a superstar. And the New York Knicks, we're not just contenders. We're coming for the crown. This is New York Knicks Report. Let's go Knicks.